What if I told you that you can increase your watch time on your videos by just making one simple fix? It's not your thumbnail, it's not your editing, it's your words. And no, you can't write a great hook and just assume that the video will blow up. It won't. Last month, I analyzed the scripts behind some of the most viral YouTube videos, and I noticed something insanely similar in their scripts. I'll break it down for you in a bit, but let me tell you what the biggest issue most content creators and especially scriptwriters are facing right now. Most content creators think that good research and interesting topics are enough to succeed on YouTube. They'll spend hours finding fascinating stories, compiling amazing facts, and crafting what they think is compelling content, but their videos still get buried, while channels covering similar topics explode overnight. Here's the truth. I've written over 6,000 scripts for hundreds of YouTube channels, and I've discovered that viral scripts all follow the same secret psychological formula. It has nothing to do with your topic, your research, or anything else that most gurus will probably tell you. But today, I'm going to reveal this secret formula to you. I'm going to show you the exact psychological triggers I built into my scripts, give you real examples of how my scripts turn into viral videos, and by the end of this video, you're going to have all the knowledge you need to create your next fire script. The difference between a script that generates 1,000 views and one that generates 1,000,000 isn't what information you're presenting. It's how you're structuring the information to hack human psychology and the YouTube algorithm simultaneously. I've written scripts for channels that went from 10,000 views per video to 500,000 views per video using these exact techniques. I've seen the same research and facts perform completely different based purely on how the script is structured. Because here's what nobody tells creators. The YouTube algorithm doesn't promote good information, it promotes videos that keep people watching. And there's a science to writing words that make it impossible for viewers to click away. It's a three-part method and each part is extremely crucial, so don't skip the video. Let's get down to business. The first mistake I see in 90% of the scripts creators ask me to rewrite is burying the value. The first 2 minutes of their script is spent doing setup, providing background context, or slowly building towards their main point. But viral scripts do the complete opposite. They use what I call value stacking, front loading the most compelling information and biggest promises in the first 50 words of the script, instead of making viewers wait for the payoff. Let me show you the difference with two script openings I wrote for the same video topic about the Bermuda Triangle. Here's the buried value version. The Bermuda Triangle has fascinated people for decades. Located in the Atlantic Ocean, this mysterious area has been the subject of countless theories and speculation. Today, we're going to explore what really happens in this region and examine some of the most famous disappearances. Boring, right? Now here's the value stacked version I actually used. In 1945, 5 military aircraft vanished without a trace in the Bermuda Triangle. No wreckage was ever found. No distress signals were ever sent. Only a cryptic last transmission that left everyone puzzled. The events that followed will completely change what you thought you knew about this mystery. Same information, completely different psychological impact. The second version immediately gives you the most dramatic fact, creates urgency with specific details, and promises a perspective shift that makes clicking away feel like they're missing out on something. When I write value stacks, I follow what I call the first 50 formula. The first 50 words of any script must contain one shocking fact, one specific detail that creates credibility, and one promise that hints at exclusive information they can't get anywhere else. The psychological principle here is called cognitive load reduction. When viewers click on a video, their brain is constantly evaluating whether continuing to watch is worth the mental energy or not. By front-loading value, you're immediately reducing the cognitive load of that decision. But here's the script writing secret. You're not supposed to be spoiling the content, and you're not actually spoiling the content. You're writing a preview that creates what psychologists call, and even YouTube strategists, some of the best, call the curiosity gap. You've probably heard of this. You're revealing an outcome while withholding the process, which creates an irresistible urge to fill in the missing information. I tested this across 20 different channels. Scripts with buried value averaged 42% retention in the first minute. Scripts with proper value stacking averaged 78% retention in the first minute. Same content, same voiceover quality, completely different written structure. The key is writing your value stack like a movie trailer for your script. Show the most exciting moments up front, then promise to reveal how those moments happened and what they really mean. But even if you nail your opening with perfect value stacking, your retention will still drop off dramatically unless you understand this next script writing technique that every viral writer uses. Most script writers think that one powerful hook at the beginning can carry their entire script. But here's what I've learned from writing hundreds of viral scripts. Retention isn't about one big hook. It's about creating what I call a written curiosity ladder. Strategic mini hooks woven into your script every 30 to 45 seconds that give viewers a compelling reason to stay for the next segment. Let me show you how I structure this in actual scripts. When I wrote a script about the Titanic for a history channel, instead of just presenting facts chronologically, I built in curiosity triggers every paragraph. For example, but what passengers didn't know was that Captain Smith had received 6 ice warnings that day. What he did with those warnings reveals a shocking truth about maritime culture in 1912. However, even more disturbing is what the White Star Line knew about the ice conditions before the ship ever left port. See the pattern? Each paragraph satisfies the previous curiosity while immediately opening a new knowledge gap. I'm constantly writing sentences that essentially say, "You think that's interesting? Wait until you hear this." The psychological principle here is called progressive revelation. Instead of giving all your information out at once, you're revealing it in layers, with each layer making the next one feel essential to understand the complete picture. When I write curiosity ladders, I use specific transition phrases that I've tested across hundreds of scripts. For example, some of these are, "But here's what they didn't know. What happened next changed everything. However, the real story is even darker. But this leads to something even more disturbing, and what investigators discovered next will shock you." These aren't just random phrases, these are psychological triggers that exploit how our brains process information. Each phrase signals that important information is coming, which triggers what neuroscientists call anticipatory attention. Your brain literally becomes more alert because it expects something significant to happen. I track retention analytics on every script I write, and the data is clear. Scripts without curiosity ladders lose 60% of viewers by the 3-minute mark. Scripts with properly implemented curiosity ladders maintain 75% retention until the final third of the video. But here's the advanced technique. I don't just write curiosity triggers randomly. I map them to the natural attention spans of different audiences and content types. For mystery and true crime scripts, I place triggers every 30 seconds or maybe even 45 seconds because these topics create higher baseline engagement. For educational content, I space them out every 45 seconds to 1 minute to even a minute 30 because viewers expect more substantial information chunks. The key is making each curiosity trigger feel like a natural escalation of the story, not like obvious retention manipulation. When viewers notice that you're trying to keep them watching, this technique backfires. But when the triggers feel like organic story progression, viewers think this just keeps getting better and better, rather than thinking this person is obviously trying to keep me here or hook me. Now, even if you perfectly execute value stacking and curiosity ladders throughout your script, there's still one final written element that determines whether viewers become subscribers or disappear forever. Most YouTube scripts just end. The writer delivers their final fact, maybe includes a quick summary, and that's it. But as a professional scriptwriter, I've learned that the ending of your script is just as important as the beginning for building a loyal audience. I use what I call the written payoff promise technique. It's a two-part psychological strategy that I write into every script ending. Deliver a final value bomb that satisfies the viewer's immediate curiosity, while simultaneously creating anticipation for future content through specific written setup. Let me show you how I structure this with a real example from a script I wrote about unsolved mysteries. Instead of ending with, "So the mystery remains unsolved," I wrote, "So while we may never know what really happened that night, what we do know changes everything we thought about small town disappearances." But this case revealed something even more disturbing, a pattern that investigators are only now beginning to understand. Next week, we're going to explore three more cases that share this same terrifying connection. See the structure? First, I provided payoff, a satisfying conclusion that reframes everything they just learned. Then I added a new curiosity gap, this pattern that connects multiple cases. And finally, I made it clear that the only way to fill that gap is through future content. When I write payoff promise endings, I follow a specific formula: reframe plus reveal plus redirect. Reframe what they learned in a new context, reveal that there's more to the story, and redirect their attention to upcoming content that builds on this foundation. The psychological principle here is called the Zygarnik effect. Our brains remember incomplete tasks better than completed ones. By creating a new knowledge gap right after closing the current one, I'm essentially making the next video an incomplete task in the viewer's mind. But here's the crucial writing technique. The promise for future content must feel like a natural progression, not a random topic. If your current script is about a mysterious disappearance, your next script should logically connect to the related disappearances, the investigation methods, or the psychological impact. Something that builds on the foundation you just established. I've seen channels go from random one off viewers to building audiences that eagerly anticipate every upload purely because of how I structure these script endings. The written payoff promise transforms casual viewers into subscribers who actively seek out new content. So, here's the complete script writing formula. First, front load your value with written value stacking. Put your most compelling information in the first 50 words. Second, maintain engagement throughout your script with the curiosity ladders. Build in mini hooks every 30 to 45 seconds or even a minute depending on what content you're making. And third, convert viewers into subscribers with a payoff promise ending. Satisfy their current curiosity while creating anticipation for your next script. As a professional scriptwriter, I can tell you that these techniques work regardless of your niche, topic, or audience. I've used this exact formula for true crime channels, educational content, mystery breakdowns, and even historical documentaries. If you want to see more advanced scriptwriting techniques that I use for my highest performing clients, you can check out my breakdown of this script I did for my client that made him $6,000. And subscribe, because next week I'm revealing the specific sentence structures that increase retention by 40%. Trust me, as a writer and a content creator, you need to know these. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.